Hi, Nick Wingate here. On today's workshop, we're going to be diving deeper into just exactly what makes the Ultra Amplifier the premium audiophile amplifier in 12-volt car audio today. We're going to take a look at the design, the parts, what makes it so doggone interesting and special. And when you listen to it, you go, I've never heard anything like that in my life. Yeah, well, we're going to be going over that today. The design itself is a dual monoblock chassis utilizing premium parts throughout the entire amplifier itself, and it's basically a handbuilt product out of the UK. Anybody take a care to guess who actually builds this amplifier? If you said Gordon Taylor, you would be absolutely right. So this is one of the reasons why we're going to dive deep into why this thing sounds amazing. So feature number one is what is known as the ELMA switches on this amplifier. There are only so many that can be built each year because of the tolerance levels and quite frankly of how they have to be built. They are hand built, handcrafted in Switzerland. And because only so many of them can be built each year, there are only so many of these amplifiers that can literally be built each year. So we're talking a very, very limited production of a very, very high quality, high end product. So, yeah, this is different in every respect. This product is different. So, feature number two are very, very select Mumdorf capacitors. Now, they are basically a high end manufacturer, Mumdorf is, of capacitors and a number of other different electronic parts that are used throughout the entire, electronic industry. But these are specifically built for this amplifier and only this amplifier. They are to Gordon Taylor specifications, and Mumdorf was the only one that could actually build them. And that's not unusual because you have folks like, Levinson Krell over on the home side. They specify certain types of capacitors must be utilized in their amplifiers. And, Ground Zero is no different. When it comes to the ultra high end, so to speak, well, this is the standard in the ultra high end, be it home or be it car. Feature number three would be the isolated power supplies. If you take a look at the picture of the amplifier, you're going to notice that the toroids are the first thing that you notice you can't find them. You're used to seeing those windings around the magnet structure, and you're wondering where is it? Well, they're hidden. They are isolated with a aluminum housing. Now, the reason behind that is because every time that the amplifier is energized and turns on, that creates an electromagnetic field. And that electromagnetic field can spill over into the rest of the amplifier, and it can cause phase shifts and all kinds of really bad problems. So, in order to keep that from occurring, these power supplies are completely isolated from the rest of the amplifier. Feature number four is the dual monoblock design. Well, when it comes to the best of the best, we're worried about stereo separation, we're worried about signal to noise ratio, we're worried about what makes amplifiers special. And dual monoblock chassis are the way to get that because when you're looking for extreme depth, width, height, three-dimensionality of imaging, you have to have signal to noise ratios that are extremely high, and your stereo separation needs to be extremely high. So if your amplifier is sharing a power supply and it is sharing output devices and it's in two-channel mode, you're not going to achieve what the level of fidelity and the level of depth, width, height, and three-dimensionality that this amplifier can produce if you don't have a dual monoblock chassis. So this is the reason why Gordon decided to go with a dual monoblock chassis. Feature number five is something very unique to this amplifier. It is an option. You don't have to do it, but I really do recommend that if you're going to run the amplifier in its high bias mode, you're going to need to cool the amp down because it will get extremely warm. Matter of fact, it's going to get hot. So we have the option of adding a liquid cooling system into the amplifier. It is a no holds barred best, but again, when you're at this level of fidelity and you're at this level of production quality, and you're running Class A circuitry, you have got to cool the amplifier down. And the best way to do it, basically, let's run something cold through it. That's a liquid. How about that? So to sum this all up, you know, we're talking an absolute best. No question about it in every respect. And if you'd like to learn more about this, you can run over to the Ground Zero website, www.groundzerousa.com, and you can take a very in-depth look at what makes this amplifier this unique and this special. There's a lot of detail there. There's a lot of things you can read about that will give you the idea that, yeah, this is not your average everyday run-of-the-mill amp. It's not even your average audiophile core audio amplifier, because quite frankly, there's not that many of them. But this is, and this is very unique, and it is very different. And I think once you get a chance to read it and see it, you'll completely understand why this is the reference ultra grade for car audio.